Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another online session. I'm very excited to welcome you again to this session on reading. You know that reading is an extremely important language skill, and we should really know how to teach it effectively and also how to make our students and learners read fast and also read with comprehension and understanding. So today's topic, as I said, is about speed reading with Tuba from Turkey. So before I lead the floor to Tuba, I would like to remind the audience that the main mission of Everyone Academy is to connect teachers together from different parts of the world and to increase online collaboration and also to help each other grow personally and professionally. So Chuba, welcome to Everyone Academy. We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much, Azizubai, for the welcome message. And welcome, everyone. It is nice to be here.
Yes, Chuba, you can do like a quick introduction to the audience about yourself, about your background, and also any future project you are having on this topic.
Sure. Okay. I live in Izmir in Turkey, and I'm a Turkish citizen, and I've been a professional ELT teacher for about 21 years. So my main topic of study is languages and linguistics, and also graduate of international relations, as well as a master's degree in ELT. And I'm an instructor of speed reading and mind mapping and also memory techniques. And I do research on a lot of topics, scientific topics and fields. And I have some projects and plans about mind mapping and speed reading and also many other stuff. I'm just maintaining some academic research and projects. And I would like to see things in a multidisciplinary way. So I would like to connect things. And I think such skills like speed reading and memory techniques and mind mapping are crucial techniques for the contemporary people who are students, who are businessmen, businesswomen, or academicians, and for everyone actually. Yeah,
that's great. So maybe before we start this, we can ask people what is speed reading, or maybe you can give us a little quick definition of what is speed reading, and then we can start.
Sure. Maybe if anyone would like to give an opinion, if they've heard of what speed reading, or they've ever tried speed reading, or they're happy about their reading speed. So any response to my questions?
Yes, you can start sharing the presentation, and we can talk about this.
Sure.
Can wait
Okay.
for the people.
So I'm starting my presentation right now. Okay. Now, I will be explaining what speed reading is and why we should get involved in speed reading. And I'm going to talk about some strategies and methods for speed reading, of course, and what is its scientific background. There's a scientific background for the speed reading, and there are many scientific research going on this topic, and I will be mentioning some speed reading tools. And finally, I'll show my references. Okay, so what is speed reading? So we can describe this speed reading as it's a process of rapidly recognizing and absorbing the phrases or sentences on a page all at once, rather than identifying individual words. That is very important. So we are not focusing on individual words, but getting them in phrases and sentences, and which refer to mechanism involves in improving the quick reading skill of an individual. And these techniques include chunking, we call it chunking, and reducing sub-vocalization. So I will be mentioning what sub-vocalization is in the further slides. And we will be talking about regression, rereading. So I will be talking about fixation points. So these are some keywords for speed reading. So I've prepared a mind map. As I mentioned, I'm also an instructor of speed reading. So combined speed reading with a mind map so that the participants can get the main ideas about speed reading. So what is speed reading about? It is about getting the main idea. First of all, one person who would like to have a speed reading to get the whole idea of the text or book or academic research, or maybe the book he or she needs to study, needs to get the title first and all the headings and keywords, also footnotes as well, so that you can get the main idea of the text. And chunking is very important in speed reading. So that means you are not getting the individual words, but you get them in chunks. This makes a person to comprehend, to understand the text, because the brain likes chunks. That's why. So instead of getting the individual words one by one, the text is divided into chunks. And what is subvocalization? So when we do not read something in speed reading and normal reading, we can vocalize, or maybe we can subvocalize what we are reading. That means repeating something in your head, or just saying the text loudly, reading it aloud. So when you are trained to be a speed reader, you do not subvocalize, or you do not vocalize the text. And I would like to mention who is the initiator, the mother of speed reading. She's Ellen Nielsen Wood. She just came up with the phrase, with this phrase. Actually, she called it not speed reading, but dynamic reading, and 1950s. And actually, it was called Wood methods, or dynamic reading, because her surname was Wood. It was called Wood reading, actually. So you can see her here. So she was the mother of this one. And one of the speed reader is estimated to read about 1,170 words per minute. And also, a speed reader should stay clear and should avoid the distractions, anything distracting him or her. And the first actual course which was focused on speed reading, was given by a group of researchers from Harvard Business School. And it was, the first actual course was based on film-aided material. And it was designed to widen students' field of focus on this speed reading. And what are essentials of speed reading? Actually, these are skimming and scanning, are also some techniques for typical reading, and they work for speed reading as well. But what do they mean? You know, speed reading involves skimming, which means to keep eyes floating over the reading material, and also scanning, which means to find facts in a fast manner, not slow, but fast manner. When can I say, okay, what if I just miss things if I go faster? So I will be explaining this. So interestingly, when you go faster, somehow the brain does not find any gaps to be distracted to think of something else. So when you are slow reading, you can think of your bills, you can think of what you're going to cook, you can think of, oh my God, he told me this way, this blah, blah. But in a speed reading, the brain focuses on the text. That is interesting, but that is how brain works actually. So I will be giving a short explanation again on what speed reading is. Well, the amount of information that we process seems to be growing by the day, whether emails or reports or websites at work or social media, books and magazines at home. So we just likely to feel pressure to get through the old information. We're just exposed to so many, so much information, and we need to get them in a quick way. We need to be quick, actually, so that we can stay in the loop and make informed decisions. So most people read an average of actually 250 words per minute, though some are naturally quicker than others. Of course, it may depend on many variants. It can depend to one person from another. But ability to speed reading could mean that you double the rate. And so the reading speed is the rate. So I will be talking about the reading speed actually. Yeah. What is reading speed? So there is a table of reading speed. So in terms of classification, so between 0 and 150 means you're a poor reader, and the average is usually from 150 up to 300 words per minute. And if you can read from 300 up to 500, that means you're a good reader. That is average. That is okay. And if you can read 500 up to 750, that means you're an excellent reader, above average. And if your reading speed is from 750 up to 1,000 words, that means you're an amazing reader. So we can say there are 4 basic reading speeds. That is very fast and slow to moderate and very slow. In other words, if we go into details from this chart, so very fast readers can read it very quickly. So I will be giving an example in the later slides. I'm going to give an interesting examples about this. The quick readers, very quick readers, who were trained to speed reading, actually. And rarely there can be some natural born speed readers, but that's rare. So especially if you're looking for any specific piece of information, maybe you're doing a research or you need to get the main idea out of a text, or you don't have time, but you need to get the main idea of the text or a book or a newspaper, or if you're looking for a specific information, then you should absolutely read it very fast. So the fast readers skim a text rapidly if they're trying to get just a general gist without worrying about details. So if you do not need details, then you should be a fast reader, not very fast, not slow, but fast. So slow to moderate readers read carefully in order to get complete understanding of an article. So if you're looking for detailed information, if you need to comprehend the whole text one word by word, then you may need to get slow. And the more difficult the text is, the slower the reader may get. So often difficult texts require rereading, and very slow readers are just they tend to analyze a text, or they may be too much distracted, actually. So they take elaborate marginal notes and often pause to ponder over the construction of a paragraph or the meaning of an image or a metaphor. So sometimes they may need to reread the text many times, like even dozen of times. So maybe I can talk about some benefits of speed reading. So what are the benefits of speed reading? Actually, we can mention many of benefits, but here are 20 of them here. Any questions so far, Mr. Sabai?
I was just would like to ask the people who are watching if they think that maybe reading faster can lead to maybe less understanding, especially if with students. So I think these strategies need to take some time in order to be very effective. So
That's a very
we can wait for the maybe the audience, or we to see this question, or to see this challenge, if it is applicable in the classroom or not. What do you think about it?
Okay, of course it's applicable, because sometimes you need to teach some academic skill. You need to teach the skimming and scanning to get a specific idea or information out of the text. And speed reading does not mean reading without comprehension. Actually, it involves some techniques that it stops from the waste of time. So I will be just talking on this. So of course, this one is applicable in classes. Me myself use these techniques so that students do not waste their time and just do not need to read the text over and over again, because they can get the main words, the keywords, and I will be talking about some scientific details, because the eye can go up and down and float on the text. So speed reading training prevents you to do that. That means
so there should be a balance between pace and comprehension
absolutely
in effective speed reading. So one should not be at the expense of the other. For example, if we read very quickly, we should make sure that we understand what we are reading.
Of course. Reading slowly does not necessarily mean you comprehend it very well.
Yes, sometimes sometimes it's not. It just you get lost in distractions.
Actually, it may even lead for someone to comprehend it less, because the brain goes faster. The brain can think like hundreds of thousands of different thoughts in a minute. So if you just read something very slowly, the gaps can be filled by some thoughts, some unwanted thoughts. So reading in a strategic way just prevents you to, distracting thoughts and other things. There is of course, as you mentioned, there is a balance between them, and you just need to practice. It does not happen in a day. So, for example, when I was trained, we got a 21-day training. So it's like your brain is rewired, yeah, reprogrammed, something like that. It's like neuroplasticity.
Absolutely, yes.
And okay, I can go on. Maybe increase it just increases the average reading speeds that maybe double or even 3 times more you can read. It depends on the person actually, and it just helps you absorb the information much faster. You just absorb the information, and it also not decreases but increases overall comprehension. And also it increases the knowledge in many fields of interests, and it saves a lot of time to tell the truth. And it also interestingly helps you to recall information more effectively, and it does not prevent you from visualization. It does not prevent you to visualization. Actually, it promotes it, and we are overloaded by too much information in social media in our daily lives. So a speed reading mind can just overcome this too much information overloaded. And there are some bad reading habits most of us do. I will be mentioning this also. So this training just prevents you to have these bad reading habits actually. Most of us do have this actually, and it organizes the reading process more effectively, and it helps you to get the concentration and discipline, because the brain needs the discipline and training. That is not only a training of eyes, but of also brains. And you can decide faster, because then your thoughts and your reading speed starts to get synchronized. That's the key thing. They just, they get synchronized, and this provides a balance between the brain and the reading habits. And it also allows reading more material in the same time, because you can comprehend better, you can read faster, and also, of course, it helps time management. Time is very important in our age. And there are so many reading programs and tools and applications that can help you. And it can encourage to learn memory techniques. Actually, this is kind of a memory technique, all applicable in daily life. You can just apply this technique in your daily life, and you can maybe remember names better, and actually create your own feature by learning new skills. So it opens you a new world, because you can read faster, you can comprehend better, you can understand better. So there are some different techniques for teaching, techniques and methods for training, for getting this skill. Some of them are, for example, the pointer methods. So this person who is the mother of this technique, she was a Utah school teacher, actually, herself. And actually, she claimed that she could read at up to 2,700 words per minute. And she said she was sweeping a finger along the line she was reading, and she said it would just help her to understand better. And this is called the pointer method, and is also sometimes called a hand pacing or meta guiding. And holding a card under each line can also help. If one person find this practical, this may also help. Some people can feel more comfortable reading in that way. It may depend upon the person, actually. And another technique is called the tracker and pacer method. It is a variety of pointer methods. Actually, then this time you hold a pen with its cap still on and underline and track each line as you read it, and keeping your eye above the tip of the pen. And this can help you increase the pace at which you just take in each line. Actually, you don't have to do this because the programs, actually, I have a program for the speed reading, and this program trains you without just using a pen or card and another instrument. Your eye gets used to doing this, not with an instrument. So after 21-day program training, your brain, your eyes automatically do this. And the scanning or previewing method. So you can say this involves, it involves moving your eyes quickly down the page, often down the center, and identifying specific words or phrases as you go further in reading. And this can be key sentences, like the very first sentences of each paragraph. Also, these are techniques for academic reading, maybe some academic exams like TOEFL, etc., IELTS. So you can just check the very first sentence and check the last sentence so that you can get the whole idea where the text goes, or the book goes, or article goes. So you can just get the names and numbers and trigger words and ideas out of the text. So learning to expand your peripheral vision can help with this. So I will be mentioning also the peripheral visions. I will be explaining a little, very little, in scientific process. So any questions so far?
So Tuba, before we move to the other slides, maybe teachers would like to ask this: are these techniques or speed reading in general should be used with certain text, with certain criteria? For example, the text which contain very easy vocabulary, or which it can be done with texts which are difficult. What are the criteria that go with this speed reading technique?
Yeah, I would recommend, especially for academic reading and a reading for a specific purpose reading. You can especially use some of these methods, including scamming and skimming, because you need to go through the text very quickly. You need to get the whole idea. You need to get the keywords and main point. So you can certainly use this, but it does not necessarily have to be an academic text. It can be applied to any age level, and I mean, starting from the literacy begins, and it can go up to the master, or even upper levels, or any English courses for specific reasons, or any kind of reading. It can be applied. Is this the answer to the question, or?
Okay, yes, there is a comment by Hakim. He said that he used this in his in reading his own books. It's outside the classroom setting. He's talking about using this outside the classroom setting. For example, reading newspapers, reading novels, reading something maybe not related specifically to the teaching profession. Reading for pleasure.
Absolutely. That's a good question. Of course, we have two kinds of reading, actually. Reading for pleasure or reading for a specific purpose. Of course, if someone needs to finish the book, or just someone reads a lot of books and want to save some time, of course can use the speed reading techniques, because without training, we waste lots of time. I will be mentioning this. Our eyes go up and down, and we need to reread the text over and over again because we are not focused. So this reading technique just helps us focus the text. And I will be mentioning in a further slides that why we waste our time in reading, how our eyes react, and how our brain is distracted. So if anyone who would like to read for pleasure can, of course, use the speed reading technique. So I will be mentioning about this further. So, okay, I'm just going further. Here is an example. Interesting examples. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyone might ask, okay, what if someone does not understand? Okay, I'm reading for pleasure, and what if I don't understand a novel? And as you see, this is a person. Actually, she's a word speed reading champion. Her name is Anne Johns, and she's actually a 6-time word speed reading champion. And she read Harry Potter, which is 784 pages, and she read it in just 47 minutes. And of course, anyone may ask, okay, so what if she did not understand it? So as a New York Magazine reported, she read like 4,200 words per minute. That's beyond the excellent, and more than 10 times faster than the pace of good readers, as we mentioned before. And to prove that she wasn't simply just, reading, riffling through pages without understanding, without comprehending what was going on, she just summarized what she read, and she could explain the major plot points of the book afterwards, and suggested that she actually retained information. So this is possible. Of course, not anyone necessarily needs to read like 10 times faster than a good reader, but this is also possible. So how about the scientific background? So if anyone can ask this, okay, what if it does not really work? How will I know that it works? So there is a scientific background for this, and I hope our attendants will not get bored, but the scientific background is very important, I guess. So that is what happens when a reader without training has bad reading habits. So when your eyes stops and focuses on the text, that is called a fixation. And to understand this term, we need to know about 3 ranges of vision. So our eyes have 3 ranges of vision. The first one is fovea, the area right at the center of the retina. Just you can see in the very first image here, and it spans about 2 visual degrees. And also we call it paraphoia. Here is this, and you can see the details, the range of the sight. And periphery means everything else that human eye sees. And okay, so the reading happens in 3 stages. That means saccade, fixation, and cognitive processing. Now, even we have data about the average time saccades, fixations, and pauses for cognition last, it is not as simple as adding them to determine reading speed. And there are some other factors, as I mentioned at the very first beginning of the webinar here. For example, we usually do skip a lot of words when we read. So these words can be separated into 2 types. The first is the content words that actually express your ideas, what you're reading about. And there are function words that exist to express the grammatical relations, like the articles and pronouns and conjunctions, just like a, do, he, she, when, whatever the language you're reading in. So these are, the conjunctions and the function words, not content, not the keywords. For example, one of the research has shown that the readers fixate on about like 85% of the content words they read, but they only 35% of the function words. So on the other hand, reading also involves a lot of regression. Regression means going back to read our previous read material. So some regressions are small corrections which happen when a saccades distance is too long, while longer regressions happen when material is not understood the very first time. So when you're trained or you're a skilled reader, 15% of their reading time will involve regression. This is for the skilled readers. So here is this example of saccade and regression and first fixation when you read the sentence. So these are the stops for regression and saccade. Okay. For example, this is an example of the fixation. So when you read the text, your eye stops right on one of the words. That is called fixation, and it makes you waste some time reading. Also, it just reduces your comprehension because your eye stops. And to this, there is something like block reading. That means you read with multiple words and in blocks. But instead of this, speed reading involves learning to identify and prioritize your focus on those important words. So the brain gets the conjunctions and the function words, but a trained brain, speed reader, just focuses on the keywords. It can easily get the keywords. For example, here are some sentences. So if you are not trained, then you can read like if you read words, maybe you can just go back and your eyes go down and up and then you get lost on the text. But when you are trained, this does not happen. You get it in chunks or even sentences because the training involves this. There are some exercises within a program, within an application. First, you get words and then you get chunks and you get sentences. But your eyes do not go up and down anymore after the training. So how does it help you after usually 21-day training for speed reading? Because our brain is rewired after 21 day. That's why we need 21, at least 21 days. That's why it requires 21 days so that it can settle as a habit. So your reading habit changes because your brain to a reading text, your brain's reaction changes. That's why, for example, actually it improves your memory skills. Absolutely. The brain is like a muscle. So it also needs training just like your muscle. So if you train our brains, then our brain will grow stronger and will be able to perform better. And speed reading challenges our brains to perform at a higher level. And when you train your brain to be able to check the information faster, other areas of your brain will also improve, just such as your memory. So it is a little like a memory technique, actually. A memory, when you read, acts like a stabilizer muscle that work when you speed read. It's like you kind of reinforce your brain work faster and more efficiently, actually, not only faster, but more efficiently. And it also provides a better focus. So most people have the ability to read at least 200 words per minute, as I mentioned, which is the average reading speed. So if you can read 200, that means you're an average in terms of reading speed. But some people can also read up to 300 words per minute. So what is that gap? Why is that gap? There are two primary reasons. Number one is the traditional reading style we're taught is not very efficient, the typical way. The second reason is the lack of focus. So if you're not focused on what we're reading, actually, one mind will wander. Our mind tends to wander. So there is a gap here, then it starts to wander. So when we are reading without any technique or strategy, it absolutely tends to wander. It does not matter. It can be anything that happened that day or any future plans, or maybe you're feeling cold or you're getting hungry or whatever. So you can get easily distracted, and you have many thoughts filled in your mind. So also you get a higher level of self-confidence. So the faster you read, the better you comprehend. That then you start to gain a little more self-confidence, actually. Maybe you need to read 4 or 5 articles, or you should get your students read 3 books within a month. And you can also train or teach your students speed reading, and they will say, oh, teacher, I finished 5 books this month and I can easily summarize them to you. This is possible. So the logic, it improves, interestingly. So reading is an exercise for our brains. So when we train our brain to read faster, something happens, something interesting happens. Our brain becomes more efficient at sorting information and finding correlations to other bits of information previously stored. So the more we improve our reading speed, the faster this process happens, and it will automatically notice improvements with logic. So as it gets used to respond quick to what before would have taken longer to process, and it helps you to get emotional well-being. So it does not matter if you're reading for academic purpose or any specific purpose, or reading just for fun. It can help you reduce stress because it gets your mind out of worries and other thoughts that are not healthy or beneficial. So when you speed read with focus, then this means your brain will not wander with distracting thoughts or anything else, because you're totally focused on the reading. So that's a very good thing for a person's emotional well-being. So speed reading is not just about reading faster. You can think of it as an exercise, and just like your muscle, your muscle improves when you exercise regularly, it will get stronger. Your brain will get stronger if you just work it out regularly with speed reading. And actually, once you get training, once you train your brain to read, to get speed reading efficiently, then you will very much more quickly comprehend and understand, and you will not be distracted, and you will gain much more focus. This absolutely helps you improve your focus and your memory as well. And There are some speed reading tools here, some examples, like some of them can be free, some of them may not. These are some of the examples for speed reading tools. So people can use some applications and they can use some programs. Some of them are free, some of them are not. Actually, I bought a license of a speed reading program and I'm using them, using it, in my trainings. We give the student a 21-day program. So they need to exercise it regularly every day. So if anyone who just fails to exercise that day, he or she needs to restart it, because it needs to be done in 21 days and without any gap, so that the brain can get it as a habit, actually.
Continuously.
Yeah, the continuously, of course. Yes, that's right.
Which one of these are your favorite tools? Which one you have used it and
actually I use it in my own language. If our attendants would like to see what I'm using and what it is like to work on a training speed reading program, I can just show them. If you want, I can share it. My program. Okay. So, okay. All right. Here are, okay. I have hundreds of mind maps actually here. Yeah. Here I have, sorry, I have so many things here. Yeah, I have my program over here. It was built at Turkish person. It is called Speed Reading Program. Yeah, cannot be seen, Mr. Spy.
Would you like to share it also?
I am sharing it at the moment. It cannot be seen. Okay. I think I have not started yet. All right, here we go.
So what is this? This is a program?
Yes, this is a program, and this includes the 21-day training. Here are some stethoscope exercises, and
can you translate it into English? Because
sure, I know. Yeah, this is in my own language. So this is stethoscope. So I will be just maybe showing this. For example, I can arrange here the speed and the level and the color and the font settings. For example, let me start with very beginning, the level 1. So have you seen that the letter appeared and then went away in less than a second? So I need to write it here. I need to get it like this. So it starts from the very beginning. So as you do it in a correct way, then there is a smiley over here. This is one of the exercises. So many exercises are here. For example, there is another one. Of course, you need to do it in different speed and levels and distance each and every day. You see, your range of perception is widened.
This is for practice. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, that's how it works.
And you can control also the speed.
Absolutely.
And everything.
Yeah. You just get it step by step, not out of the sudden you get the highest speed. That's not a good way. But
okay, let's do a little experience. You can put it into English, translate it into English, and we can do a quick experience.
Actually, or they don't have any meaning. They're just meaning meaningless
meaningless
chunks.
words.
Just piece of some. Actually, they are meaningful, but if you combine them, actually they are pieces of some words, but they are meaningless right at the moment.
Oh, yes, yes.
Mhm.
So the reader is supposed to link those chunks together, right?
Yeah, actually not link, but our left and right brain, our left and right eye. So at the very first time, you just look at right here, and you you just not try to, but you start to understand the words slow by slow. So not looking at here, but looking at here, my brain starts to get both of them.
Okay, so where I'm supposed to look? In the middle for fixation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And here are some concentration words. That is another thing that works very well. And you see, so if both of the words are the same, you press the left arrow. If not the same, different, you just press the left arrow. So if they're different, you press the left, and if they're the same, you press the right button.
Very
And
interesting.
yeah, very interesting. Absolutely. So that's why the speed reading works. You see, now it goes up to 4, and it can go up to like
It's getting difficult now. Forward.
yeah, but you just do it, one by one. So one level for that day, and the higher level the next day. So it goes like that. So 21 days. That's why we need 21 days. And maybe this is a focusing one. You see that?
Yes.
So this time numbers. You just perceive the numbers, and it changes. You can also change the speed and the level here. But each day you change the levels of that. And these are the ones to just help you to develop your eye muscles, this one. So you need to follow this one like this. This means you can just manage your eye movements like that. And it goes faster and faster like this. So you train your eye muscles like that. Maybe I can show one more. So this one is speed reading and block reading and group reading and shadow reading ones. For example, this time you read an article from the library and you start reading it. It's like, for example, you can choose, of course, it may depend on the program, but this one is what I'm, mostly using. For example, just picked one of them. And okay. So what happens here is, sorry, I need to choose things here. Okay. So it includes how many words this article includes, and it depends on which topic is about. So you can reverse it. You can do it in block reading. See? Just surprise your brain. You can change the speed. So you see?
Yes.
The sentences come and go. So this helps you to stop
Focus.
your eye. Yeah, to stop your eye going up, because when we don't comprehend what we're reading, we just tend to read the sentences above. So this trains you not to do that, like that. So there are so many combinations here about this. So on. So there are many other exercises here, actually, and they all help train your brain. Okay, I'm just changing the words, and you can change the background color and the font settings, maybe. Here we go. You see? So you read it in chunks. So you can widen it. You can increase it. You can increase the speed. After 21 days, then you just start reading faster, and also you can understand it. Yeah. Did it help to understand what is speed reading better?
Yeah, this application is really, really useful.
Yes, absolutely. So there many of them, this is one of the programs which I'm using, but the attendants can try many more, so they can find out themselves which one works best for them.
So we'll give some seconds for the audience to ask quick questions if they have them.
Mhm.
And then we will close this session.
Mhm.
Maybe, Chuba, when you do this with your baby students or participants in your trainings, what challenges you are facing in this?
What challenges? Their background in their native language, if they're learning any other language, or they may, most of them tend to, especially students, the primary, secondary students tend to vocalize the words. They tend to
Sub-vocalization.
read it. Absolutely, they read it. Vocalization and sub-vocalizations. They just need to repeat them in their head, or even,
So
loudly.
sub-vocalization is going against quick and quick reading, right? It's not good with speed reading.
Yeah, it's not a good
Sub-vocalization.
thing. It just, no, it's not a good thing. It's a bad reading habit to vocalize or sub-vocalize, to repeat them in your head and just, or read it loudly. If in some readings, skills or strategies, reading worksheets, we may need to vocalize it, but mostly we shouldn't do that. That's a challenge. So this one is a challenge, and also it needs 21 days. Some students or some people may find it difficult to continue this training. They may say, oh, okay, I want to skip today, I don't want to work. And so if they stop working on this, they need to restart again. That's maybe another challenge. So you need some will,
Determination.
yeah, absolutely, that may be
So
another challenge.
yes, 21 days to finish the training and to be a quick reader.
Yes.
So Tuba, thank you so much for this very, very interesting session about speed reading. Thank you for
Welcome.
sharing all these interesting ideas.
You're very welcome.
So before we close this session, do you have any final comments or something to say?
Well, these kind of skills involving memory techniques and mind mapping techniques, I would like to recommend the participants to gain some skills, because we need to use our brains, time and energy in a wise way. So we absolutely need to develop new skills so that we can adapt into 21st century learning skills. And this will absolutely help them comprehend and reach their purpose, and also save them a lot of time. So I would absolutely recommend them to get this kind of skills.
Yes.
And no matter
Okay.
if they are students, no matter if they are academicians, no matter if they are teachers or simply readers, we all need to read in our daily lives. We all need to recall information in our daily lives, because we're exposed so much information in our daily lives. So we need to really put the information in the right place. We need to recall them in the right time, and we should wisely spend our time and energy.
Yes. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This
I
was
hope this
really
helped to our participants.
yes, it was really useful, because I said earlier that reading is challenging, and when we have a conversation like this, or a session like this about reading, we began to solve some issues about reading, uh, because reading is very complicated skill, and to teach and to learn. It's very complicated to teach and to learn, especially with with today's learners. They are involved, and they are using technology every day, and so this is affecting their reading ability and performance also.
Absolutely, I agree.
So thank you so much, Toba, and talk to you later.
You're welcome.
So bye bye.
Bye.